Hey, Dana, what's going on?
Oh, our usual routine.
Right, I feel like we're getting into the groove of this thing.
Right. Especially this is our second one with actual video and people can see our faces.
Third, I think.
Third. Yeah,
Is
you're
it
right.
third?
Third.
Time
Third.
flies. Time flies so quickly.
Yes. Time flies when you're having relatively useless conversations.
Only to anyone who's not super into toys.
Right, right. Speaking of toys, we are the both of us two guys, and we are talking toys.
Yes, we are.
Nailed
Uh,
it.
nailed it. So how
Did
are
you get
we?
anything new this week?
I did actually there. Well, I guess not technically new. New as in I was able to finally get my hands on them, open them, and put them out on the shelf. So I got Groon. I think I mentioned that I picked him up before.
Yes,
Uh,
yes, which
I
is
managed
very cool.
I managed to get Groon, Chitara, uh, the angry Mirrorverse Lino. It's kind of funny now because I
The
I
red
now
one, the red guy.
yeah. So I now have the technically I have the original cast of Thundercats minus Jaga, and I'm debating whether or not to get the regular Jaga because I really want that ghost version that Super Seven advertised.
Right, because he's
He is
transit.
clear. He is
Yeah,
extremely clear.
he's your
So
your
he's
guy.
right in my wheelhouse. So I've held off on Jaga, but I think the only other one that I'm missing technically is original Lino. I have Evil Mirror Lino, and I have the I was left out in the cold for too long Lino when he turns blue and
Right, right.
and Snowman finds him. Yeah, so now I got to get the new Thunderians. I got to get Bengali, Pumira, and
Right.
Linkso.
So blue and red. Not you've got 2/7 of the rainbow, but
Yes,
not the original one.
my hope is to repurpose the red Lino into an extra body for Pumra because
Right,
it because in my head like I like the episode. We talked about this before. I like the episode that he appears in where Mumra disguises himself as Pumra and gains access, whatever. I
right.
always
I
want,
think we discussed it on air about how he was more
yeah,
anthropomorphized than
yes.
he was more cat
I
than the other folks.
I wanted more with him. I wanted him to come back. I wanted him to be like that episode of the Batman animated series where Clayface has a little piece of him that wanders off and it
Right,
gains
that's such a great
sentience.
episode. Yeah,
It's really good, but I wanted
that
that.
creepy girl.
Yeah, I wish something like that had happened with Pumra, where he just started off as an alter, like a disguise, and then through insert whatever '80s logic, he became his own person. Still evil. He could still be evil,
Right.
but but I wanted him to have like his own separate character.
80s
So
80s logic that gave
yeah,
us Turbo Teen.
but the most see that seems like something that Cronenberg would have a field day with. Bring him back
Yeah,
into it.
that transition was nightmarish.
I want to see that in live action. Just all the horror on
His
his
face,
face.
the grill, when it changes into the grill of the car, it's horrific.
How are his friends not horrified, standing there watching him go through this transformation, and then him being like, "Get in, hop
Right,
in."
right. I Yeah, I feel like if that happened, for instance, we had lunch today. If you had changed into a car in the middle of the Cheesecake Factory just for kicks and giggles and was like, hop in, Dana, we're going for a ride. I feel like whatever I had, like that would be cheesecake that I would not eat again.
That's the only response, not the horror of me
Nope. Yeah,
turning into a
just
car.
slide the plate away. Slide. Nope.
Check,
I'm
please.
done. I've
Check,
had
please.
enough.
I'm
Thank
I'm
you.
done.
I got this week again, only because it was sitting in my pile of loot.
Mhm.
Again, as a shameless plug to Big Bad Toy Store, and I just allowed them to ship it to me. I got to your chagrin.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
I know, because Target hasn't shipped yours yet, and
They're
it's
holding
been.
mine hostage.
But I will say that this is one of my favorite figures from the line. It's fantastic, and look at
It's
that like 1,000-yard stare.
it's so cool looking. He knows how long he waited for this moment. I like that
Yeah,
they reinterpreted the wing, the shawl that he kind of has
Yeah,
into wings. That's been something that was floating around in the kind of the fandom for a
and
while. That
the way they joint it is
yeah,
fantastic, and I like his giant pointy spatula.
you know how many NECA fans are real upset right now because gargoyles don't have that kind of jointing on their wings. They're real
Yes,
unhappy.
all of them, including me. But I like his weapon because you could flip triangular pancakes with that. That's what's
This is
really cool about
true.
it.
Look, he really enjoyed Uncle Buck, and he was like, I can flip a
But man,
giant
look at
pancake
that
too.
stare.
It's
Look at
really
that
good.
stare. And he's got his like feces ingesting grin. That's like you don't even want a
You,
piece of this.
yeah, I love the all the updates they did. It's just subtle tweaks to the original design. It
Yeah.
really helps increase the coolness of the character.
Yeah.
I
And
want
it's funny that you say that, since you showed us today new versions of characters we had when as a kid. I too have showed you newer versions of a character we had when we were a kid. If you were lucky enough to find him, because he wasn't, the big brand. But
mhm,
I want to talk to you today, Tom, about figures, and I have some laying around here. Figures from yesteryear
mhm.
that should, I'm shaking the table, that should get the reboot. Like we've got them all now, right? We've got Thundercats, we've got GI Joe, we've
Mhm,
got Defenders of the Earth, we got
mhm,
Gargoyles, we got Eagle Force,
mhm.
we've got Toxic Crusaders, we've got multiple Ninja Turtles. Like everybody's getting a reboot line, right?
Yes.
So what are the figures left that maybe people aren't thinking about, or maybe they are, that should? And secondly, the second part of the show, I want to talk about toys that maybe they're thinking about should get and absolutely should not.
I like this a lot. Okay. All right. Who'd you go first? You want to go first? You want me to go first?
I will go first because I introduced it and I have some laying
Yeah.
here.
So what's your give me the first one. Who are you thinking of? Who needs an update?
Okay, first one update: the Bionic Six.
Oh my God! Yes.
The Bionics, who made
Yeah,
LJN, right? These are LJN.
I believe
Uh,
so.
and the cartoon was kind of cool. It had a family. It kind of had that Fantastic Four feel. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I mean, no, there weren't four of them, but there was a whole family, and they got big, cool bad guys like this,
Hmm.
and Mechanic and Glove, and he had
Hmm.
the glove, and he bowed to you. And the problem is they're die cast, and they get
Yeah.
kind of you
Yeah.
know
You know what
loose and flimsy, and then they break, they get
no they were
they decay
they
literally.
they were using that. I guess this was around the time that they were still playing around with different kinds of articulation. Like the first couple that you held up, in addition to having you wanted to be translucent so you can see that the inner workings. Like this is the bionic part, but they
Right,
also had
this is like pre-Teen Titans cyborg design, like this
yeah,
is
but they also had in like the shoulder. They were doing that almost pins and
yep,
like almost like ball and socket almost, and
yep,
it was really innovative. But they hadn't quite worked out the engineering yet, so they could know to do things like carve out a cavity so that the shoulders don't look like it's just two spheres attached to a box. Uh,
right,
and that was one of the things that I believe G.I. Joe was kind of doing that as well with some of their joints, the shoulder
yep,
joints, whatnot.
yep,
Uh,
especially in the beginning. Mhm.
yeah, so it was like they were almost there. They weren't quite where they were because the focus was still on, well, what's the gimmick? What's the play pattern we want kids to have with the line? We'll
Mhm.
make them a little more movable. We'll get rid of we'll do more than like 5 points of articulation, but uh, like it was close, and I love seeing that they were on the path, and they were like, we want a little more, but how do we get there? Let's try
Right,
this. But yeah,
right.
update those. Now who would you want? I like this as kind of a secondary follow up to the question: who would you want to update them? Like what toy company out right now?
Oh, I don't know. I think it would have to be somebody, because I still like the animated look. Like I
Hmm.
don't want them to look like, how the gargoyles, the new NECA ones are
Hmm.
outstanding, but they've got
Yeah,
that sinewy kind of,
yeah. I was really expecting
I,
more of a cartoony thing, which
mhm.
they've proven they can do with the Ninja Turtle line. Like their animated stuff for that, is fantastic. So they
Right.
can do it. I guess they just made the creative decision to go
I
with the more
think
realistic.
um more along the lines of like the Fortnite figures,
Okay,
like that
that's
6-inch scale. Like
mhm.
yeah, I think that would be
So would you want Jazzwares
yeah, yeah,
doing
yeah,
these, or
yeah,
would you want
yeah.
Hasbro
No, I think
or
Jazzwares.
McFarlane? I forgot McFarlane had a cup of coffee with Fortnite.
Right.
But Jazzwares is a good choice. They've done some
I would go
ridiculous
with
stuff.
Jazzwares because I'd like to look. I mean, of their little figures, even if they did
Mhm.
the 3 3/4
Yeah,
and redid them with some of like, I think that would be fantastic. I would buy
mhm.
them.
Sounds good. Good, good pick. I completely forgot about Bionic Six.
You're up.
It was not a toy line that I collected. All right, so this would be kind of like a number one pick, and I know that I've discussed this toy line before in previous podcasts, so I do apologize. And he was like, "God, will you get off of this?" Sectors, and I don't know if that fully
But they have
counts.
been done.
I yeah, so
They've been done
I don't
on
know if
a
that fully counts because, like you said, like Zika has done them in the 4-inch scale, and now we know that Nacelle is going to be doing them. However, and I say this with the big caveat, I am enjoying what Nacelle is doing.
the four
Their
inch
show.
ones.
No, that was Zika Toys.
Oh, okay, you're right.
Nacelle is doing those the larger scale ones. They look like they're I forgot the exact scale. I remember they're 6 or 7 inches. But we've seen those. We
Right.
saw those in person, and I think that if they were looking for old sectors and they would rather get these instead, then that's fine. But I personally am not a fan of the way that they've chosen to approach doing sectors. Uh, they look they look like the originals. Like we've seen
Right.
Dargon in
Yeah,
Stellara.
even like the joints.
Yes, and that is kind of where my problem with it lies. I know it's a design decision. I know that was the aesthetic they were going for, and my immediate thought process is if I wanted the original looking sectors, I would buy them. It's cool that they're leaning into making unproduced figures, but I would like to see them done. I would like to have seen what Zika was doing continue in
Right.
two scales. Not feasible, but if we're talking in Tom's ideal world, there are two size classes for sectors, just like Fortnite has the 4-inch line that Jazzwares is doing and the 6-inch
Mhm.
line that Hasbro is doing. Finish off that 4-inch line of sectors with the fully updated articulation. They kind of like updated it a little bit so that you still had the classic look, but you had tweaks. So now the shoulders look like they belong in the shoulders. The originals had those bulbous kind of circular bumps out sticking out from the side of the figure because that was the best they could do at the time, which at the
Mhm.
time was great and it was awesome and it allowed you to have all kinds of like neat articulation that you weren't getting from other figures. But we live now, and I want updated articulation and engineering for my figures. I don't want them to look exactly like do
We live
do it
now.
do what Mattel is doing with the Masters Origins line. If you're going
Yep.
to update it, like you can keep the aesthetic, update it, please. Um, is that a bad choice? Should I go on to something that has just never been touched?
No, that's not a bad choice. That's a good choice. I like
give
it.
me give me some modern sectors, please.
Are you ready for my next one?
Yes.
I would like Hasbro to re-release their line of Pirates of Dark Water.
Oh, that is a good choice.
These characters are so cool, and the detail in Mr. Bloth here, from his
Mhm.
scaling, like his whole body is scaled,
Yeah.
and those big giant fish lips, and like these are cool. Like they're all cool characters.
Yeah.
Even the main, Ren, the hero, he's got the hero look, but he still kind of has a gelfling coolness to him, right?
So I am. I remember Pirates of Darkwater. I honestly didn't watch the show that often. Was Pirates Darkwater the one that had the dual sword that he could pull apart, where it was like it almost looked like a spike And I know there's a whole bunch of people who are just screaming at their,
Right.
their
That's
thing
been
right now.
done.
It's
Yeah.
this. But I remember there being a series. It was before He-Man
Yeah.
where they had the sword that separated, but it was
Right.
another series.
And they had the cool giant like parrot guy. I do have the figure, but I didn't
Uh-huh.
bring it up. The giant parrot that was
Mhm.
half human, half parrot. I don't know. He was cool.
That is a good choice. I think Hasbro would do a really good job with those.
Yeah. All right, you're up.
All right. Give me a throwback to all those weird gimmicks of the 80s. Like we see it with Bionic 6 with the when they had the clear
Right.
parts.
Right.
Remember holograms?
Yes, the Visionaries.
Give me Visionaries.
And
Give
what was
me
the other one? That was like it looked like
Supernaturals.
It looked like those guys from Harry Potter, but it
yes,
was
they were all ring wraiths, and then you popped them open, they'd have like a little animal, a hologram animal inside, and then you had the ones that were like the knights, and you pop open the knight, and the only thing scarier than a hologram human knight is if you turn it and it turns into a hologram like lion creature.
Yeah.
And they were all terrifying. Like, there's no good guys in this. You're all monsters. But
the Visionaries were fantastic, but they had good articulation.
Mm-hmm.
They were well made. They were like a 5-inch scale, right? And their weapons, they all had those giant like banners with another hologram on it, but the chest plates were cool.
And they had those neat glowing. They had like those neat glow in the dark swords that I thought were really cool. They looked like they were
the helmets.
Yeah, and they looked like they were hewed out of stone almost. Like the texturing on them, but they glowed in the dark, and I thought that was super cool.
That is cool. And had we known you were going to talk about them, I would have brought some up. But they're outstanding.
Give me those. I guess the big question is, how do you update those? I have no clue, and I've tried looking this up. Who, if anyone, owns like the hologram technology? I know that there's sort of like pseudo hologram stuff that you can get done, but that like weird green to red kind of that thing that used to even it was everywhere, and they would put it on comic books and whatnot.
I don't know. Everywhere.
I don't know if they can do that anymore. And if they were to do a full on update, I don't know how they would tackle it. I don't know. Like, say you have Visionaries, and you have your character who's in pseudo kind of medieval armor, and that's easy to do. And we could back
they
to
were
Jazz,
like medieval samurai armor. This is like a weird hybrid. They were. It was cool.
Yeah, so we could even go back to, say, I don't know, 4-inch scale. I know people are going to be mad. They want 6-inch scale. That's fine. But again, Hasbro and Jazz, where is it? Fortnite it. 4-inch line, 6-inch line. Give them their staffs. Give them the hologram thing. But it'll be kind of cool too, because we never got these. I would want like a translucent animal thing to accompany them. Yeah, get with like maybe some psychedelic colors, because when they jumped out of their staffs, then they could exist for a little while, but they were kind of like ghost creatures. Is
that
like
the Experiamus? Like
you would cast it out there, and then they would run out, because what was the show lore? They had the pool of energy, and then they would dip their staffs into the pool to recharge, and then they would I don't know how many shots it was good for. I forgot. But then I was like,
what if you did small animals though? Like if you did a polar bear, that would take a lot of juice. But if you were just shooting gerbils at people, you could probably almost like a Tommy gun.
So someone needed to have like a rabbit as their pairing, and just shotgun them out.
Right. It did have that kind of Golden Compass kind of feel with the pairing of the critter and the I like it. It's a good choice. Good choice.
You're up.
I'm up. I've got a lot of them here, so I don't know. my next choice, I would like Todd McFarlane to redo the Monster Force.
Oh my God, the Monster Force. Redo those.
These are fantastic. These were Playmates, and you had the creature from Black Lagoon and I did it backwards. And Frankenstein. Like, these are fantastic figures.
I could see McFarlane having an absolute field day with this. You've got as long as he keeps them all looking forward and not looking off to the left.
Please
stop.
I don't know what's going on over there, but McFarlane would knock that out of the park and
Mhm.
but this was the heyday of Playmates. Like
Yes.
this was fantastic. Simple 5-point articulation,
Mhm.
nice animated look, the details and the scars and everything.
And
Like
it was cool to
fantastic.
see. It was really cool to see that they could go from something like as crazy as say like Worm from the Ninja Turtles line, like what a or like Scumbug, but then they could also do
Right.
more laid back. I guess not laid back, but more humanoid, more controlled looking kind of designs.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, give me those. If McFarlane is looking, get on
Right.
it.
I know he was waiting to hear our requests. He's just like
It's dying.
he's like,
Look,
man, that Frankenstein would look awesome if it were gold. Everyone would want it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
There's no women in the line. Sweet.
Sweet and platinum. All right. Well, we just dashed any hope of McFarlane ever liking us.
Now, I feel like he takes a pretty decent amount of guff from people that he has never interacted with. It seems to not openly hate them. Maybe
Right.
he does. Maybe he's.
At least I pride myself in that people meet me first before they choose to dislike me.
So,
all right, you're up, buddy.
All right. Next line. And again, this is going to be one of those things that I'm just going to continue to harp on. Give me new Inhumanoids.
Oh, you're okay. I thought you were going to say
Please.
Battle Beasts.
Oh, you're getting ahead of yourself. That's a later pick.
And humanoids would be awesome, but they have to be big. Like I don't want little ones. Like I want giant men.
That's kind of the thing, because you can do again, like even if you wanted to do a 6-inch line, and I guess that's always where the question is going to be: what scale do you make something that's going to be revamped for this? And I guess that would depend on how large do you want the Inhumanoids themselves to be. So
I want to decompose. It's as big as that Galactus behind you.
Oh, that would be I was thinking about this the other day, looking for, because I managed to re-get Metlar. I really want to get Decompose and Tendril as well, but to get one that is in decent condition, you're gonna pay for it. It's gonna be no less than $300 some odd. And I started thinking, I'm like, I wonder. I'm probably being defeatist now. I don't think the numbers are there, but we're paying what would be a HasLab price for those. Like people that are buying those, like that at the toy show that we went to in November. Remember the Decompose that we saw? One of the vendors had like a Decompose
that you balked
in the box.
on. You didn't even want to ask how much.
Didn't even want to know. And I was like, he may as well say $1 billion, because I'm not going to be able to afford whatever he's asking for it. And then we saw someone walking off with it, which made me really wonder what was the actual price tag on it.
That guy did not look like he had $1 billion in his pocket.
Yeah, like now I'm wondering, did he say 250 and that was like the bargain you find at a flea market?
I don't know. You didn't even ask.
I didn't even want to know. I just would have been upset. But now, and I wound up being more upset. I don't know what he paid for him. But
right. Yeah, it's like being afraid to ask the girl out of your dreams, but then you see her walk out of the dance on the arm of some other dude, right?
You're like, how'd that happen?
If you wanted to date a girl named Decompose, I don't know what that says about you. Even if that's a nickname, that's not going to go well.
Hey, listen, after he turns Sandra into that giant skeleton creature in that one episode, she's pretty taken with him. It seems like there's somebody for everybody. Metlar dates the Statue of Liberty.
For every key. See, here we are. Now we went from, part of toy culture is toy matchmaking. Toy matchmaking. That should be an episode. Like which toy lines could cross and bring about the world's best couple? Like there are plenty of good couples with different dynamics in every toy line, right? In every story. But if we could cross it over, like that would be toy matchmaking.
Yeah, I feel like it would be like when Marvel and DC crossed over and they had that whole Marvel vs. DC series, and immediately, without anyone even making a guess at it, you could have bet money on it, Robin falls for Jubilee.
Right, because they have the same hairdo.
Yeah, they have the same hairdo. They're both kind of silly, and you're like, "Oh, that's sweet."
And they even match primary colors that they were.
Yep, it all worked out. All right, so this ties great into Inhumanoid somehow. Just kidding. No, it doesn't. Yes. But give me. Do you remember the oh, what was it? What were they called? Raw? Like the like Raw 25? No, maybe it was Rav 4.
The McFarlane
McFarlane,
things? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
McFarlane
I
put
had the
out the
snake and the
yeah, that was the first
Velociraptor
kind of
and
the first redo.
Cygor.
Yeah, the first redo of Cygor, and his proportions are great. Uh,
Yeah.
not huge on articulation, but I don't really need it. But in regards to Inhumanoids, I wonder if that would be a decent scale or a decent use of resources. You don't want to have a fully articulated, loaded with features, because if you look at it from an 80s logic, the Inhumanoids themselves kind of were the playset for that line. You had like Herc, and you had the Liquidator and the rest of them. But the interaction with the humanoids, being able to put one inside of Decompose, being able to have Tendril grab them, like that was something you got without needing a secondary location or a secondary playset. Like you could have them swarm them, which is why I kind of lean more towards uh, the 4-inch line. And I have a buddy where this was our argument constantly. For me, bigger was better, and
Right.
he worked all his mojo on me, fighting me for like 4-inch. And I've kind of come around in that larger characters, it's just easier if you have a 4-inch line to do those larger figures and have the scaling work a little bit better. And again, I'm gonna go back to Jazzwares with the Fortnite line. The 4-inch line is phenomenal, so you can get some ridiculous articulation out of it. Do some gimmicks with it, because there's clear versions of like the smaller guys, and then give them enough accessories so that if you have them come up against an Inhumanoid, it looks right, and you can make all kinds of really cool looking designs. But I was actually part of this same buddy of mine. We started kind of seriously putting our heads together to try to work out uh, a pitch to relaunch it. So I wound up doing redesigns. When we first started kind of like having lunch, I remember showing you some redesigned versions of those. Oh, you've cut out. I cannot
There we
hear
go.
you.
I'm back.
Ah, fantasap.
I'm back. You know
It
why?
was
I had to cough and I turned on my mute.
you were like this guy with the humanoids.
Yeah, you can with the humanoids.
So that's my next pick. So what's yours?
All right, I'm going to go through the next three quickly. My
Okay.
last three, so we can move on to toys that need not be made. An easy one, I feel, if they were done in the style of the Revelations, Black Star.
Oh, I think Black Star's what I'm thinking of. The one who had the sword.
Yeah,
That's
there was the two
separated?
swords. Yeah,
Okay.
they glowed in the dark. Of course, you remember them because they glowed in the dark. And because look at the bad guys. They're
Yes.
phenomenal. The problem with Black Star, they were put together literally like with a piece of like a hair tie.
Yeah,
both legs were tied together in the middle.
See,
But
this makes me wonder
and
if they were.
and that made their legs do this.
Oh my god, the pigeon toed, the weird pigeon toe look is horrendous. Were they trying to replicate what He-Man was doing? They just didn't know how the leg sockets were connected by a rubber band.
And I don't know if that was something that was proprietary or whatever, but yeah, they were definitely going that way. And then the other one, I'm going to bring this up. I would love these as an Ultimates line, 7-inch scale, but they still have to be translucent.
Oh, Crystar.
Yeah. Like these, like the Crystar, and then Moltar, and Magnaman, and my favorite, because he was the hybrid of both of them. Like he was supposed to be the mediator, Feldspar. Like that's at a 7th-inch scale ultimate translucent.
Yes, absolutely. Come on. You know what's funny, and I completely forgot until you brought this up. I want to say 2007. 2006, 2007
I like how you were
or
counting
so.
with your head.
It was a while ago.
Yeah.
Someone had gotten in touch with me about trying to get the rights to relaunch Crystar. So they actually had me do artwork for a potential Crystar figure that they wanted to go to the rights owner and show off. Mm-hmm. It was a full picture of Crystar as well as like a headshot for Moltar. And I will dig that up and send it to you, because that was really exciting and really fun.
It was. That would be really exciting to be part of a Crystar reboot. And the comic books were also fantastic. Like, good stories.
clearly didn't work out, but I would love to see something like that pop up again. That would be awesome. And it seems like it's right in the nostalgia wheelhouse that we have going on. Where find me a franchise that no one has touched in years and get it out there.
Right. Okay. So have you got a couple, one or two more that you can rattle off, and then we'll move on to figures that need not be rebooted?
Yes. So I've got two more. The first one being Captain Planet, and I cannot believe we live in a world where Captain Planet has not been. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, buddy. Not only do you have Captain Planet, you have glow in the dark radioactive. Oh, I can't remember his name.
Yeah, Duke Nukem.
That needs to be done, and that seems like something that would also be in Super 7's wheelhouse, where
absolutely
you get an Ultimates version of it. Oh my god! And then do a separate head where she has her hair pulled back so you can see the destroyed eye.
Yeah.
Give me that. Give me the individual ones, and then you finish off the line with his ultimate nemesis, Captain Pollution.
Right.
Do those, and of course, my number one.
I'm missing that figure. I'm missing Captain Pollution.
Did they ever make a figure of him? I think he was in the line.
I don't know. I feel like they had to, right? They should have.
It seems it seems like he absolutely should have been in the line.
I mean, they made all kinds of ridiculous Captain Planet variations, the gold one and the ice one and the yada yada. So why wouldn't they have just redone him?
You would think maybe they want to recast that head because he had the weird the two little wisps of hair up in the top. But
right.
Man, that
devilish.
I can't believe that we live in a world where we're dealing with, like, climate change has been proven, unless you're an idiot.
Right.
And you would think
I love our political statements when they use the word idiot. I love that.
That's a technical term. You're an idiot.
It's an acronym. We'll tell you what it stands for. But I love when you, like, the big at the bottom of the Captain Planet packaging, it said printed on recycled cardboard.
And now we live in a world where Hasbro is trying to push towards plastic-free packaging, which is something else that we can discuss in more detail in a later episode.
Right. And nothing speaks better than plastic-free packaging than a hero representing a clean Earth made of plastic.
Absolutely. And a special edition.
If they can make them compostable, that would be awesome.
They'll make them out of cardboard. You'll be fine.
Compostable plastic. It would be fantastic.
And of course, my number one is Battle Beasts. Give me updated Battle Beasts, for the love of God.
I find it hard to believe. I find it hard to believe you don't have one within reach where you are.
I don't today because I changed up the shelf.
Oh, okay.
I moved them around. They're just out of arm's reach.
Right.
They're somewhere over here. Now there was Mini-Mates did attempt to reboot and cash in on the Battle Beast nostalgia and the frenzy, and I'm sure that some people liked it. I thought they were awful, and I get why Mini-Mates is as popular as they are. I get why they can.
Yeah. I almost bought those when I saw them. I was like, no way! And then I picked them up, and I was like, man.
Their marketing for that was not the best when they came in to try to. You find the core audience, and you're like, hey, there's this brand new thing, and they did that. And I was part of the message board. There was a message board called Little Rubber Guys, and I don't know offhand if they are still around, but there's a lot of interaction over there about Battle Beasts and muscle and whatnot. And I remember they popped up and were like, hey, look at this, and people were like, nah. And then the response was, these are better than those. Those were stupid. And we're like, should you be saying that? Or you want us to buy those?
Those were stupid.
Not your best. Maybe not in those words, but that was definitely the impression that they were giving. So the comic book, they did release it in conjunction with a comic book, and that the artwork is pretty great.
Yeah.
The stories meh. But the artwork, pretty good.
That's all right. That's okay.
So that's my number one.
That's the number one. I like it. I Captain Planet was on my list as well. One quick question before the move to ones that shouldn't be made. What scale Battle Beast?
Oh, I would be fine with a 4-inch line. It's I've thought way too long about this back when I was attempting to figure out how to acquire the rights to these in the late 90s. 4-inch I think would be ideal, mostly because I want play sets, and I want the Shocking Shark playset, and I want the Phoenix base, and that would be really cool in a 4-inch, in a like a 4-inch scale. But again, like we've now proven, or toy companies have proven, that they can engineer figures of that size to have really good articulation and to have really good detailing. So give me that. However, forgive me if I'm mispronouncing your name, Jason. Jason Benevue. Again, I'm probably mangling his name, and I apologize.
It's close, I guess.
Warrior Beasts of the Kingdom
Those are
is
fantastic.
an upcoming 6-inch line that is fantastic.
The 6-inch line, yeah, and the 4-inch ones are stunningly beautiful.
Yes, those are really well done.
6-inch line,
everyone's really anticipating those. They look really good. I think it's going to be worth the wait. I ordered. Way to
drop a name. We've been dropping a lot of like brick and mortar names, but way to drop a specific name. Yes, I like the way you brown nose in public. That's fantastic.
Listen, these are people who I feel need they deserve acknowledgement. Yeah, and kudos for the stuff that they're doing. And it helped that we got to talk to him for a little bit at Legion's Con, and he's a great dude. I like when good people do good things and are just like an open book and are generally just pleasant. It's nice. Yeah, it really helps sell your product.
He is a great dude.
And the product itself looks amazing, and I cannot wait. And I backed it for way more money than I am comfortable admitting. But I think it's going to be worth it. Those figures look fantastic.
And Jason, remember, he didn't commit dollars to Decompose, still in the box, but he's committed dollars to you, my friend. Okay, so figures that need not be remade, and you're going to like my first one, I think, because if you're a fan of anthropomorphic critters. Need not be made, not because it was poor, need not be made because the movie didn't do so well, but the figures are already perfect, in my opinion. They're fantastic. The Warriors of Virtue.
Oh my God.
Like, we've got kung fu kangaroos who, teach meditation and self-awareness and control. These figures are fantastic. And the makeup in the movie, if you see, if you could find it, because I cannot, I've been looking for it.
This has been kind of a grail of yours.
Yeah. I finally got all the figures. Now you can find them. But, and you can find them for not a lot of money, and they're fantastic. They're was it Grillo toys?
I don't remember offhand.
Grillo. Yeah, the toys that disappeared, like Galoob, LJN, Captain Planet was Tiger Toys, right? Like some of them kind of fell to the wayside, but these guys are fantastic and well made. Like, you could throw this guy out of a moving car and he's gonna be fine. And he's got the tail, and the clothes. It's just a fantastic line, and they need not be made, not because it's not a worthwhile endeavor, because they're perfect. Don't touch them. Don't do them.
Completely agree. So let's see. What would be a line that I would not want to see? Don't do Snorks. Don't.
God, when that movie's going to happen,
Don't do it.
Trolls.
I'm amazed.
Had Smurfs. I don't know how Snorks hasn't happened.
I'm blown away that with the resurgence of Smurfs, that we did not immediately see them and I can see the trailer already where you see the Smurf village and it pans away and it goes to the lake and then it goes under the water and you see all of the Snorks. All right, we are down to less than a minute. And I think that this has been a great conversation. What? Yeah, we got the warning. God. We're set. All right, so we're out of time. We gotta go. Warning. We gotta go. If you want to get a hold of us, you want to add to the conversation, drop us a line. Our Twitter handle is 2 Guys Talking Toys, the number 2, no G after the talking. If you want to go old school and drop us an email, the email address is the same.
No virus.
2 Guys Talking. Yes, 2 Guys Talking Toys, the number 2, no G after the talking.
Nice.
Dana,
good.
This has been fantastic.
Yeah, it was good. Godzilla Squad. These
suck. Oh my God!
Don't ever remake these. All right.
All right. Take care, everybody. Oh.